Hood Postman, City, Hood, Click. Let's go.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray we all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you a big.
Lock the door. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Bozeman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it'll feel like the first and the 15th. Welcome to the mailroom. When you come in, take a look at your mind, examine what's in your heart. Go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. This is not a glorification or is a glamorization. It's always an education. Get on the bus and let me take you to school. Before they had handguns, they had hand guys. You got the man up out there, guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to Marlena Williams, Postmaster. King Mike Marks, thanks for that donation. King Henry, what's going on? What's going on? And everybody else that's joining us in this live chat. I appreciate each and every last one of you are amazing, incredible people for continue to listen to me rumble and wamble and tumble around there on this YouTube internet space. I appreciate it. We're going to talk about our guy, King Babalouie, KC King Babalouie, the big guy himself, the walrus. Melly Mel, I'm going to sing a song, Melly Mel. He's always break out singing all the time. And I'm going to truly, really, really miss that guy. He was an amazing, incredible guy. He was a very talented person. He wrote a book, guys, called The Starting Lineup. If you guys haven't had a chance to get a copy or read it, I suggest you go get that book and get into it because it got some very important history in there. It got photos and everything. And before we get going, I want to say this. Derek Chauvin. Remember the guy, Derek Chauvin, from the Derek Floyd down there in what was that? What was that? What was that, St. Louis? Or Minnesota? Wisconsin. Okay, I got it together now. Okay. We all witnessed him putting a knee on the neck and choking all the life out of Derek Chauvin, right? I mean, out of George Floyd. Well, as of recently, Mr. Chauvin has been stabbed 22 times while in prison. So he ain't doing too good, guys. He ain't doing good at all with his prison stay. Everything is, coming around to hunt him. The chickens shall come home to roost. So at some point, shout out to Dominique, what's going on? Pata, what's happening? Alu, what's going on? What's going on? I appreciate you guys joining this live chat once again. So coming back to King Babalouie, man, when I was growing up, right, King Babalouie was such this big, huge guy. Even all the, he was like a main target over there. Because we like, man, if we can get King Babalouie, we be on top of the world. Because he was a big dude. What's out Big Deal? What's that in Big Deal? He was a big dude over there. So he stood out really amongst all the other guys. He really stood out. I mean, of course, it was the putting the Tams, the LBs, and the Vinces, and all that, right? But Babalouie was such a huge player. He seemed like more of a threat than because he was so huge. But he wrote a book, guys, called the Starting Lineup. And what he did was took both of his identities, because he identified at first as a Crip, and then later on he identified as a Pyru Street boy, right? And he was able to take both of those histories and combine them and write this book. And he did a really, really good job on it. And once again, they got pictures. I suggest you go check it out. He broke down how the term blood came about with him, Jonathan George, and Ray Boys. He talked about the Bonnaroo, how that came over with the Roo and the bounty hunter. He give you all the history on that. And the thing about the blood, see, people didn't know that. And he talked about this because he said, they would say, cuz. They got tired of hearing cuz while they was in YTS. And it was a word they took that would unify it, because everybody wasn't Pyrus. You had bounty hunters, you had swans, you had brims, you had down there, what's it called, the 20s, outlaws. And you had other anti-Crip gangs, right? But everybody wasn't a Pyru. So, but to give them that unity and that commonality, they used the word blood. Blood was a significant word that helped join the blood car together, whether you was from the Brims, whether you was from the Pueblos, or you the Bishops, whether you was from Athens Park, you was bounty hunters, you was swans, or you was, outlaws. That term blood was an endearment to all people that carried the red bandana. And I know later on they added the burgundy bandana, but from what I remember, from my peripheral, from my observable reality, it was always a red bandana. Now, when they added that burgundy, I probably wasn't paying much attention to that, because by that time, it really, shout out to Iron Man, it didn't have no significance to me, because I was trying to find a doorway to all of it and escape from it all, because it had became too chaotic. It had became something other than what initially it was, and we all believe, for whatever it's worth, all gang members believed that they were protecting something. And it wind up, shout all original 5150. What's going on, 5150? What's going on with my guy? We all believed that we were protecting something. And along the way, we lost our way. We lost our way, and all it became was CK became Color Man Killer, and BK became Black Man Killer. At the end of the day, Sean Prince, what's going on? At the end of the day, it was all weaponized to destroy, to tear down, deteriorate, and to eliminate black men. Black men, placing black men in the morgue every weekend. All them people that was wanting the morgue was being put there by other black men. So when we was growing up, we would look to certain things, and a lot of times the football games, the parades, the high schools were often the playgrounds and the feeding grounds for these type of frenzies and this type of destruction. Those are where a lot of it is started at, and most of the guys started from not elementary, but from middle school. That's where a lot of the recruitment, you felt like you was out of elementary, you was in middle school, we called it junior high back then, and now you were able to, be around with some bigger and larger guys. So, and I think for the most part, a lot of us just didn't want to seem like punks. You know, so you pick the side, and if you didn't pick a side, they pick the side for you, depending on your geographical location, whatever side of town you live on, whatever street you live on. A lot of times it was just, man, you was just thrown into something. I said, just wondering how many original Crips are still. You know what? That's a good question. That's not very many, bro. I'm gonna tell you that it's not very many, and because when you look at it, you know, I was just talking to my guy the other day, O'Neal, and y'all saw me put his little thing up. O'Neal Brown, he just had a birthday. He's an original Crip. There's not many people that can say they started cripping in 71. Not many people can say that. Or 70. O'Neal, I think O'Neal was 69. So he right around that age to where, you know, he was right there, original. And he actually founded the 111 neighborhood. And hopefully we'll be talking to him soon. Rest in peace, Moses. AC Moses, King Babalouie. Man, King Babalouie, man. I went to his house, his mom's house. I think it was on 76. I went over there. They had a big house up front, a back house, and everything. He was doing pretty good, and he had the white guy Randy over there was helping him doing his music, and a couple of other guys that was over there living with Babalouie. He had people over there living with him, and he was doing his thing. And then I met his girl, then Jill, and then that's when they moved on Estrella. Because that house I think he had sold the house or lost the house, one of the two. But anyway, they wound up on Estrella, and a lot of times I would just go by and pick Babalouie up, and we would go to the park, or we'd go to my partner's JT house, and we'd go over there, kick it, and sit around and talk. Get at Cynthia, and she can give you the details about the funeral arrangement. Right on, man. Down on. Oh, by the way, I wanted everybody to know too. Thank you for that Damu. Shakur. My cousin, my relative, Carolyn Peters, Carolyn Sunshine, Cali Sunshine. Y'all probably know on the Facebook. It's Carolyn Cali Sunshine, or this AKA Mama Roo. That is my relative from the West, and you could definitely. She's helping putting together everything for King Babalouie. Jamel Barnes and Batman, as far as I know. Yeah. And Jamel, Jamel is probably well, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him in that regard, but yeah, he wasn't doing too well mentally, But yeah, he definitely is original. Definitely. He said, "Homie, that's my crush." Yeah, that's my relative, man. Yeah, that's my relative. You know her? You know Carolyn? Carolyn Peters. He say that's my crush. I'll be sure to let her know that you said she's your crush. Yeah, so she's helping putting everything together, and they're gonna give him a big send off. If they could get the space that they talking about. If they can get the space they're talking about, it's gonna be a big deal for Babalouie. I'm talking about a big deal. If they can get that space, I ain't gonna spoil it. I'm gonna let them get it first, and then we'll tell you what it is. Yeah, but if they can get that space, it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be plenty of room. It's gonna be a nice, very location, and I look forward. They're gonna give Big Babalouie a big old send off. But anyway, coming back to Babalouie, he talked about the time he was telling me about Black Johnny, right? And when the East Side was first forming, see, people don't know that Babalouie is the one that took the Piru to the East. He took it because he was Icky Dawson was in YA with him. And Icky took him to meet Ray. And at the time, because Bartender lived on Spruce, and then he moved on Pearl, which is on our side of town. But they probably had that relationships too. So you can say Bartender, Icky Dawson, and Ray Johnson, rest in peace. Both, all three, rest in peace. Matter of fact. So that was how that, and Babalouie was the ambassador that took the Pyru to the east side, and that's where they got it going. I tell everybody, man, I dealt with a lot of different Pyrus, and I see how even the Cook Streets, the Jarvis Streets. Just think about Pyru was like there was the Washington State Pyrus, there was Holly Harris Hustler, Hollywood Pyrus, there was Ludus Park, and all that way everybody know as the Lime and Cross Atlantic and Mob. That was all Ludus Park, even which y'all know as AM. It was all Ludus Park, right? So technically, they were the biggest Pyru gang in Compton. And see, Pyru is the Pyru and US Boys, the Us Boys, are the two only original gangs that originated in Compton. And when you look at it, if you have to look at it, if you look at it in terms of blood car or bloods, there's more Pyrus probably than any other gang. And I'm not talking about the Crips. I'm talking about within the blood car, the Pyru. I think they have, because Pyrus are just, they in Compton, they in Watts, they in Carson, they in LA, they everywhere, bro. And they all out of town and more, they just everywhere. And I believe they have when it comes to common numbers and stuff, I think the East Side Pyru put the fire in the freaking cannon. It's no doubt. That's who did it. Those East Side Pyru boys was something else. And Babalouie was the one that took it over there. I remember that they drove to Arizona, and yeah, they did that. They did the road trip to Giacomo's house, and that was with Kev Mac. Yeah, that's it. Pyrus are deep in Jersey. See, there goes Sean, and they pretty much deep everywhere, bro. They deep. I would have to say they probably the biggest blood car. I mean, prove me wrong. Name me one that's bigger. The Swans are not bigger. The Bounty Hunters are not bigger. The Outlaws are not bigger. The Brims are very popular I think in New York. I think they deep in New York, but outside of that, the Pyrus in Alabama, they in North Carolina, Texas, they in AZ, they everywhere, bro. They everywhere. My family bang mob. Yeah. Babalouie was a wealth of knowledge on the early days. He damn near knew all the original founders. Yeah, he did. He did know all. He talked about Deadeye Clint and Victor Adams and Craddock and Bulldog and Big Baby Clark, Mad Dog, the Bad Dog. Moto and all them cats. Mac Thomas, he knew all the see, but that was the problem. Even if you go back and look at what happened up in Centennial when the West Side Pyrus got into it with the Carver Parks, and the Carver Parks got in touch with Raymond. They hit Raymond, and Raymond came up there to Centennial with a whole East Side Crips, right? Ready to get on these dudes, but it was Babalouie. When Raymond saw Babalouie, that's why I say relationships and friendships can be bigger than gangbanging. They can, and especially when the people that's doing the talking or leading the individuals, they working, they functions are working properly. They're toning it down. They're toning it down because they don't want to see nothing come no harm to nobody that they care about. You understand? So yeah, what happened that day is that they got up there and the Carver Parks, they got into it with the West Side, and they got Raymond involved. Raymond got up involved. He got there, and they saw Raymond and Babalouie embrace because Babalouie had been an East Side Crip. That infuriated the Carver Parks, which in turn later brought Mac Thomas into, because Mac Thomas never wanted, he had something, man. I think it was very personal with him and the West Side Pyrus, because he never wanted to see that happen, because Raymond wanted everybody to be together. That's what Raymond wanted. But Mac Thomas didn't want that. Mac Thomas felt like Nah, that's they this and that, and nah, I ain't going for that. And that started the war between the Grandies and the West Side Power Roofs. That's pretty much it. I mean, just to sum it up, not that's not the full story behind it, but just to summarize it, that's what kicked it off right there. Is that Mac Thomas had something personal, and Putin felt the way he felt, And then, of course, when you lose Tam and you lose Salty, that just all bets are off after then. Everything is done right there. There's no coming back. And right to this day, you know, people just kind of just pass each other like two ships in the ocean and don't, keep, you don't. Other words, I see you in traffic, I'll give you a pass. You see me in traffic, I'll give you a pass. You don't write on my walls, I don't write on your walls. You know, uh, if we got a problem, let's get somebody on the phone. I think that's the way. That's just keeping an understanding amongst each other. Let me see what he said. Do you remember when the Pyrus and Crips parted together after? Yeah, man, I've been to parties where both Pyrus and Crips was at. I was at a party one time putting Bojangles and all of them was there. We was there too. It was just a trip, and that's even that party when Tam lost his life. It was a party on a Butis after a Compton High football game. Too Pretty Kenny said Raymond knew Babalouie. He did know him. He grew up with him. What do you mean did he know him? He grew up with Babalouie. Babalouie was down there east side in it, bro. That could be true. That could definitely because Mac had, let's see, Melvin, Alandis, and Lee Thomas. So yeah. And they was always at the head honcho too. Yeah. So yeah, that definitely could have kicked it all off. And you gotta remember those first Crips, all them was working at YCAC back in the day. All of them. They all worked up there. So, that was when they had the Cedar programs and then Bob Simmons come in with the boys home. He was trying to provide jobs to both Crips and Pyrus. Even bringing Crips and Pyrus to the round tables to negotiate. That was Rosie Greer, Mayor Bradley, and Bob Simmons, and Baby Boy was Kenny. Yeah, they was doing their thing. New King, what's happening? So yeah, man, we gonna celebrate this Babalouie, man. And I know people feel there's a lot of people that feel different than I do. You know what I mean? I like what I like. I kick it with who I kick it with, and it don't matter what color bandana you stuck in your pocket or any of that. Not to me, it doesn't. I know there's people my age that still look at that stuff, and I be like, wow, for real? I be perplexed behind that. Even when somebody be cussing me or even saying blood to me, you know, here it is. I'm 66, right? Well, I'm more closer to 66 than I am to 65, so I just say 66. Matter of fact, I'll be 66 on March the 27th. Be 66 years old, right? And when I hear people talking like that, I be like, wow, you sure been carrying that word a long time. When are you gonna put it? When you gonna take it, fold it up, and tuck it away and put it back in a drawer or just bury it? You know, because if you think about it, none of this stuff that we learn or we gain from game banging, you can use it as a negotiable tool. You can't take it to the finance company. You can't anywhere. So that it's non-negotiable. Compton Rick Rock. Why do we feel the necessary need to continue to hold on such things that really don't do nothing for us, but cause dissension, it causes disturbance, it causes us to be mad at one another or find or fall out with each other, you know? So why do we keep on holding on to this stuff is it, if it doesn't serve purpose? Because I think that's what God intended for all of us to have a meaning and a purpose and live at our level best, you know, be what God intended you to be, not follow the constructs. The constructs, the Crip is a construct, Pyru is a construct, the gangbanger is a construct. Or it's something that was created by mankind itself. It doesn't come out of order. God created order, man created institutions and systems and constructs and stuff of that nature. But God created order. But somehow we've been disillusioned and we've been disenfranchised and we've been social conditioned to follow. Even in the United States, when you think about how it follow the red and the blue and all that stuff, all that all that stuff has some significance because if they divided among red and blue, then black people are divided among red and blue. And all of it is about what is it about? Capitalism? Capitalism? If we think about capitalism, what is capitalism? Think about capitalism in this sense. The word, what is it? Capitalism. What does that mean? What is the root word? Capitas. Capitas. And I think it means to be brilliant. Don't go look it up. Don't if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I believe that's what the root word of capitalism is capitas, which means to be brilliant, to have a brilliant mind, to be creative, create things, not to be not to not things that is going to be destructive, but things that's going to be of benefit, things that's going to give you rise to be not only happy but be unreasonably happy in your quest in your everyday activity. Let me see, what is this? He's sitting back there playing. Not today, blue eyes. He's sitting back in the lane like a big old Santa Claus. And I remember that they drove to Arizona and Giacomo. Yeah. We talked about that. Toronto's deep in Jersey. Let me see some of the other questions. Let me see. Is Marlena in there? Marlena must be busy. Do you remember when the Paru was Marlena? Yeah, I do remember that. I'm behind. Thank you. Oh, there she go. There she go. Oh. The Paru boys didn't have a problem with AC being a Crip. I mean, there's a lot of Crips that became, Pirus, some Pirus that became, I know a whole neighborhood of Pirus that just served Crip. And the same thing happened. But there's some people that wrestle with that. Some people wrestle with that big time. They don't want you to know that they hood used to be a blood hood, or they don't want them to know that they hood used to be they do not want you to know that. They will fight you tooth and nail over it, like it really means something. Yeah, you right, JC. Love all the way from New York. Man, right on, man. Right on, New York. Appreciate New York, man. I love New York. I love the atmosphere. I love the Renaissance, Harlem, Brooklyn, Brownsville, I mean the Bronx, all that, man. Just everything about it. It's just different. Very different. Do I think Raymond? Do you think Raymond's wrong for starting a street gang? Well, let's put it like this here, right? So there was this thing called the avenues, right? There was this thing called the avenues. So Raymond wanted to be an avenue. He wanted to be a baby avenue. So when the avenues rejected him, allegedly they slapped him or whatever, and he went on. Raymond goes on because now you're dealing with mercurial, right? Mercurial meaning something all of a sudden unpredictable, wayward. He said, I can show them guys what I can do. I create my own game. But you got to remember that this all happened out of emotion. This was a moment where he was offended. Somebody did something. He went back home and came back. Later on, he come back with the Crips. The avenues are no longer, but the Crips are still here. And their mantra was Crips don't die, they only multiply. And multiply they did. I'm not saying this in a way that what he did was good, but I will say this. If you go back and look, I did a video on this, 1969, right? 1969, we had so much going in the right direction. James Brown had wrote a record, Say It Loud. See, he wrote it in 68. By 69, it was blaring everywhere. Say It Loud, I'm black and I'm proud, right? 1969 was Bunchy, apprentice, right? Bunchy Carter, right? And his sidekick, Bobby, was gunned down at UCLA, right? Whole different ideology than Crip or something of a street gang nature, right? These brothers was educated. They went to UCLA, they went to Berkeley, they went to Step, they went all the education of higher learning, right? I'm finna learn you something. Let me learn you something right here, right? Um, then you go all the way to Chicago. Fred Hampton Jr., right? 1969. He was also assassinated. So the Crips came about in 1969, and Larry Hoover was crowned king in 1969. So let's say hypothetical, right? If the if Raymond wouldn't have been allowed to create the Crips, if we would have had that theology or that mantra or that culture condition that Bunchy Carter had for us under black nationalism, and the same thing would have happened in Chicago under Fred Hampton, right? Black nationalism, and we might not have had that GDs and BDs. We might have just been black nationalists, right? We would have been uh, putting on for our own culture, not destroying our culture, not killing us. And it's funny that both of them brothers was knocked down in 1969, and then you get the emergence of the Crips and of course the BDs and GDs or whatever. They would probably existed before, but I'm saying whatever Larry Hoover's thought and how he felt how it should be moving, he brought his own ideology to the table and it took off from there. And I'm not saying that I have the full story to that, but what I am saying, it looks kind of strange to me. And then you got J. Edgar Hoover, who's the leader of the FBI, who's initiating COINTELPRO at the time against the Black Panther Party. This is how Fred Hampton get assassinated. This is how Bunchy Carter basically got assassinated, because you got Asian provocateurs, you got black people that has been signed up, and it's called what is that called? Drapomania. Go look it up. Drapomania. Drapomania is this guy. His name was Samuel something. He was a psychiatrist that came up with this theory that black people suffer from drapomania. Drapomania. I believe I'm pronouncing DRAPE TOMANIA. I believe that's the correct spelling on it. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. And what that was like that if you didn't want to be part of the slave system, you was suffering from a psychological disorder. Don't listen. Don't look it up. Don't believe me. It's DRAPEMOTOMANIA. Go look it up. And I'm paraphrasing. I'm kind of just summarizing, but go look it up. Don't take my word for it. And this is what these white folks, they came up with this in 1851. And they used that all the way through. They had it in the psychiatry's book that if somehow you didn't want to remain in a slave system, in a caste system as a black person, you had a psychological problem. You had a psychological disorder. And all this stuff ties into why they fought black people tooth and nail to keep you submissive, to keep you tied to these penal codes and lottery. That's why they came up with lottery and trespass and all these things were added into, because they went from the Ku Klux Klan to Jim Crowism now we got Jim Crow Esquire. It's written into the laws. So now you got J. Edgar Hoover, you got Larry Hoover, and you got Clarence Hoover. Clarence Hoover came from Arkansas, who later wound up on the west side of it, and he was part of the Magnificent Seven over there with Cutes now. Some of the original Crips from the west side. And I don't know if all these Hoovers is kin to one another, but they say J. Edgar Hoover was really black, among other things. So I'll tell you guys, this stuff is, we could never probably unwind all this stuff and get to the bottom line of it all. But I'll tell you, if you just start following stuff and reading this stuff, you'll be like, wow, what? Let's see. The one scripture says that things can be done decently and in order. Okay. Thank you, Marlena. I don't know. The Flagnew Park came later, bro. That park wasn't even there. If you think about in the early 70s, there was no park. There was just the apartments. But there was West Park, which was Pyru's, which was across the street from what you guys know as Flagnew Park, right? Panoy, what's that there? Man, appreciate you, Damo. Appreciate you. Classic Jones, Apprentice Carter, and John Huggins. See, I had his name wrong. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for correcting me on that. I said Bobby, but it was John Huggins. You're right. John and Fred Hampton murdered. Yep, there you go. So all that in 69. See how Jones got it? He got it. Both all in 69, right? So Jones, if you think about it, why were they assassinated? Why was Raymond and the Crips able to survive? And why was the Larry Hoover and his outfit able to survive? When we had two very profound, powerful brothers within the ranks of Black Panther, and understanding the cultural conditioning which we were subjected to. They was trying to bring it because it was a psycho-philosophical vehicle of spiritual and intellectual enslavement. They was trying to bring us out of that by giving us to know thyself, breaking the psychological chains of slavery. That's what these brothers, that's what Apprentice Carter was about, John Huggins, and that's what Fred Hampton was about. But on the other hand, if we follow this other ideology, we're going to wind up in a rabbit hole. We're going to wind up in a rabbit hole, and look hard, some 55 years later, we still in the freaking rabbit hole. And I know we started talking about Babalouie, but sometimes these conversations had to take twists and turn to get to where it just don't start. It's like the horse ride didn't start here. It goes back. You got to take it back. So that's why I went back to 1851. Go, OG Classic Jones. Go look up the word, the Drapomania, the DRAPE TOMMAIA. Go look up that word. 1851, where they said black people and black people didn't want to be, and black people, it was a mental disorder for a black person not to want to be in slavery. That's the sickness that we live in within this thing we call United Snakes. I mean, that's what I call it, but that's the sickness. There you go. There you go. You got it right there. Was a psychological diagnosis used to describe and support a mental illness enslaved people who, yep, who fled captivity. See, man, thank you, Classic Jones. Man, you own it, man. You own it, man. That's right. You own it, bro. You own it. See, I didn't break down all the scientific part, but I knew what I was talking about. I just want to prove the point that I know what I'm talking about. I don't just be on here on the internet talking about stuff that I don't know. I tell you what I know, what I think, but I don't tell you what I feel, because if I tell you what I feel, I'm gonna misdiagnose, I'm gonna subscribe, or I'll miscue the conversation. It's not gonna be right, because feelings is never good. Not for me, it is. I know some people, I know God created us to have feelings. I understand that, you know. This, we feel sorrow and frustrations, we feel happiness and joy. Those are feelings, right? But it doesn't determine truth. It doesn't determine truth. Feelings never determine truth. And that's what we have to understand. Yep, there you go. There you go, Henry. There you go. And that's you hit my point right there. If they would hadn't stopped the Black Panthers, there probably wouldn't be no Crips and Bloods. And that is the point that I wanted to make right there. You nailed it, bro. Thank you, Henry. Well, Raymond never did wine over my side, so I knew Mac Thomas and I knew Tookie. I used to see Tookie and Mac. I saw Tookie almost every day. Mac Thomas, I might seen him like once or twice out of the week, but Tookie every day. Because Tookie was the type of person that he would pull up and check and just see how the younger Crips were doing, or just, you know, kind of give you a prep talk and try to strengthen you, you know what I mean? And give you that mantra so you can know, so you can, keep it up, keep it up here, keep it up here, you know, lock, keep it on lock. That's how we used to do, because the Compton Crip rep two C's with a cane with the derby on top of the matches on top. That was the Compton Crip symbol. Let me see. Let me show you right here. Let me go back. Here we go, right here.
Hold on. We gonna get suited and booted, but first we got to come butt naked to the top. You feel what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Now, our traditional symbol in Compton Crip was the bald head, the chain and the crosshead ring. You know what I'm saying? That's how we knew who all Compton Crips were. You know what I'm saying? Because we had the bald head. You know what I'm saying? And the ace deuce. Now, our original symbol was two canes like this, where the gangster had at top, and the C's on the top, on the side. You understand what I'm saying? Crossed up. You know what I mean? That was our original symbol. And it was just so more beautified, man. But us being together, everybody was in fury of us like a motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have no problems, man. Not in jail. Nobody trying us, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's Lil Me, Big Mimi. He don't like to be called Lil Mimi. You gotta call him Big Mimi. Do not call Lil Mimi, don't go call Mimi Lil Mimi. You gotta call him Big Mimi. Make sure you remember that. Don't make the mistake and call him that, because he do not like it. Yeah, so that's where we at with it, guys. That's where we at. Definitely. That's where we at. That's us, baby. I'm from Bompton. Love you. Love your energy, fam. Right on, man. Damu. Right on, man. Shakur, man. Take care, bro. Appreciate it. Hanging there with me, baby. Yes. Definitely they're more structured. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Big lazy. That's my cousin. You know my cousin? Brian Banks? Yeah, Brian passed away, bro. Passed away last year. Do you know me, Big Lazy? I don't know you by that name, but yeah, you asked about my cousin Brian Banks, man. That's Brian Banks. That's Hog. We call him Hog. My other cousin Kenny Smith. He a Pyro. He been in prison, man. Kenny been in prison forever. Yeah, Kenny Smith, man. Ken Dog is what they call him. Knockout artist. Yeah, knockout artist. Your bunkie in Soledad? Okay. Oh yeah, that's my cousin, man. He rest in peace, man. Yeah, you right. You got him. Rest easy, Hog. Thank you, Marlena. Yeah, we definitely. Oh, he's with Kenny and James. Cool, brother. Yeah, them all my cousins right there, man. And Carolyn. Y'all know Carolyn, right? Carolyn Peters, Mama Ruth. I used to see if you go down on Prilla, right? That back gate where the church is, or the back of Enterprise. Okay, big lady, right on, bro. Right on, man. Appreciate you. Well, there's the back gate off of Enterprise. I grew up in that house right there where the dirt field is, going to the back gate of Enterprise. It's only one Larry Hoover. But, no disrespect to Larry Hoover or even Clarence Hoover or any of them Hoovers, but just think if we would have just, if our ideology just would have been coming from a Black Panther structure versus there would have been no Crips and Bloods, and then that Fred Hampton was trying to get all them to become, the El Rukins and all that stuff at the time to become part of the party. It's always strength in numbers, man. Okay, Big Lazy. That's interesting. You mentioned my cousins like that. Wow. Ah, yeah, definitely. 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 That's just like Tam. Babalouie had a great deal of respect for Tam. Tam was an animal, man. It's an animal, you know. Then there was the other guy, Nelson, Sugar Man, athlete, man. You couldn't even hold a dude like that down. Just, just shout out to the names. Say, Big Lazy. I know, man. Appreciate you, Big Lazy. Vice Lords and Black Stones that had eventually they predate GDs and BDs. Right on. That's what I was trying to get those names. You're right. You're right. The Vice Lords and the Stones, yeah. Because my homie Chili Pimp, right? Chili Pimp was a Black Stone Ranger that came from Chicago and wound up being an Oaks Park businessman. Chili Pimp used to wear the big black fedoras with the leather coats with the belt tied around it. And he had a baby. He called it a baby cannon. He sawed off a shotgun. So I ain't never seen a shotgun. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I would put that in my hand. Story time. There you go. Story times. You know the follies. Yeah, but Chili Pimp came. He was a Black Stone Ranger. Came from Chicago, just like with God, man, T. Rogers. Same thing. Well, anyway, guys, it's been amazing. It's been incredible. Thank you guys for joining us on this live. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do something. It's always incredible. I enjoy the ride. I enjoy the conversations when I can converse with you guys, and then also when I can give you guys something that you can it's tangible. It's tangible. You can go like Jones, my guy Jones did, man. He went up and he went and pulled it up, and then he put it there right there for everybody to see. Happy New Year, Big Lady. Appreciate you. You know, to show you I wasn't just talking. I'm telling you what I know and not what I feel. Yeah, they was also teenagers also, yeah. They was very young, high spirit, a lot of energy. Just, we needed some coaching, bro. I'll be the first to tell you, we needed some coaching. We just, it took so much from us to lead us into the direction in which we went, It was definitely set up. It was staged. The stage was set, bro. The stage was set. But anyway, I am Professor Millie Mill, the Hood Post, man. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys. You guys are amazing, incredible group of people. Always let our entry be by the gate for truth and honor. Likewise, let our exit be by the gate for truth and honor. And ask God to increase us in intellect, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and purify our hearts and purify our minds. With that being said, again, don't mind me, just watch it. Church moving, but go ahead and lock that door.
Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money, got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a bro bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shining. That's hard work, proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me, that's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking, and I don't talk about it, I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Reach for the low.
Lock the door, because we are gone.